Blue by Nana Ikua Brew Hammond. Read to you today by Gammy. The color blue is all around us. Have you ever wondered where it comes from? It's in the sky, but you can't touch it. It's in the sea, but when you cup it, it disappears. You can crush its iris petals for a brilliant shade, but just add water and away it fades. But then blue appears in the strangest places, discovered throughout history in unexpected ways. As early as 4500 BC, diggers found blue rocks called lapis lazuli in mines deep below Afghanistan's Saracen Valley. Ancient Egyptians used the rocks mostly to make jewelry. Some wore them as charms, believing that they had power to protect people from evil. But with time, they found new ways to use this underground find. By 44 BC, many Egyptians, including Queen Cleopatra VII, were applying a bluish mixture around their eyes that looked like eyeshadow, made with ground lapis lazuli grains, plants, and animal fat. More than 600 years later, artists began painting sculptures, walls, and canvases with blue from the crushed rocks too. It was a royal pain for those who made the paint, and so expensive only the wealthy could buy it. Since it was a luxury and in such high demand, for centuries, scientists, merchants, and dyers looked for more sources of the blue. Then, on the shores of the Mediterranean, Central America, Mexico, and Japan, dyers found blue in the belly of certain shellfish. A Phoenician myth says a dog discovered the color. Finding a snail on the beach, the pup ate it. The snail turned the dog's tongue purple-blue, and from that moment, a new industry was born. Dyers had different ways of releasing the color. In Mexico, they pressed the snail's foot. In the Middle East, they cracked its shell. Then they waited for the blue to appear. Depending on the snail, the color started out a milky white or brownish yellow. But once it's in the air and the sun, it quickly turns green, then reddish purple, and with more sunlight, blue. But whether dyers pressed or cracked, snail blue was hard to produce. Each snail released just 1 or 2 drops. Imagine how many snails and drops it took to dye a royal robe, not to mention enough fabric to fill a merchant's shop. Perhaps because blue was the color of the heavens, yet so rare and hard to create on earth, people around the world considered the color holy. In an old librarian folktale, blue is explained as a gift that connects God to humans. In Italy, from the 13th century onward, some artists began reserving blue to paint the robes of Mary, the mother of Jesus. In Indonesia, some say special prayers to ward off evil spirits before they make the dye. In Israel, blue drapes hung in the temple that King Solomon built, and many Jews still wear blue dyed threads called teklit. For years, snail blue was the most popular color, but all along there was another way to find blue in nature. In parts of Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean, and the Americas, a group of plants in the pea family grew. They were called indigofera. Although these plants had green leaves, there were a few different ways to get blue from them. India dyers soaked them in water, while West African dyers crushed and they dried them. When they added ashes or yearn, it enabled the dye to dissolve in water so it could bind to the fabric. Since it was cheaper for dyers to produce blue from the indigo plant than from the rocks and the snails, and the shade was just a vibrant and long-lasting indigo dye, especially indigo from India and West Africa, was eventually valued by the most lovers of the color as the best of the blues. India and Nigeria became powerful centers for making and trading indigo. People made clothing, makeup, and medicine with it. Indigo became so precious that people spent it like money. In parts of Africa, some merchants used strips of indigo cloth to buy people and sell them into slavery. In India and Bangladesh, some planters tricked and forced poor farmers to grow indigo plants instead of food. In the United States, some made the African captives that they had enslaved from farming indigo, calling the plant a cash crop because it brought in a lot of money. In this evil side of the trade for blue, leaders and landowners around the world abuse or enslave countless people just so they can grow more indigo. From the time blue was found, scientists worked very hard to make blue that wasn't so difficult or cruel to produce. In 1865, scientist Adolf von Baeyer began trying, and 40 years later, in 1905, he won the Nobel Prize for creating a chemical blue. Finally, everyone, not just the wealthy, could afford something blue. But it was always about more than having a blue outfit or a piece of jewelry or a work of art. Because of its scarcity, mystery, and holy associations, blue was more than a color. It was a feeling. We feel blue when we're sad, perhaps because the people who had to dig, grind, and grow passed down their painful memories of working the mines or of slavery on indigo plantations. Africans enslaved in America sang prayers that sounded like tears. The songs were called spirituals, and they inspired a style of music called the blues, originally known for its aching words and melodies. We feel excited when something happens out of the blue, perhaps because the color was once so rare, a discovery that seemed to appear out of thin air. And blue is still considered extraordinary, and it was once the color of royalty. This could be why, around the world, blue ribbons are pinned for the first prize. Today, dyers still use indigo to make blankets and clothing, and some doctors still use it in natural medicine. Maybe because blue has such a complicated history of pain, wealth, invention, and recovery, it's become a simple possibility, as vast and deep as the bluest sea, and as wide open and high as the bluest sky. The end. Take a second and read the author's note. Want to explore more? Here's a few blue facts. We have so much more to learn. Be blessed. Forever and Always by Brittany Thurman and Shamar Knight Justice. Read to you today by Gammy. Evenings when Daddy comes home from work, Olivia soaks up his hugs. Daddy's hugs feel like 1,000 I love yous, 1,000,000 I miss yous, and 1,000,000,000 hellos. His kisses tell Olivia she's safe. Daddy's squeeze lets her know that he's not going anywhere. Evenings when Daddy comes home from work, Olivia and Daddy help Mama fix a feast for dinner. Daddy and Olivia get wet to their elbows during the wash-up. Olivia and Daddy dance to music Mama calls old school. All three feel the tunes jolt through their bones. Always. Evenings when Daddy comes home from work, the night can last forever and ever. It lasts until sleep fills Olivia's eyes and dreams coat her mind. Mornings before Daddy goes off to work, Olivia soaks him in her hug. Mama says, "Be careful, be safe, and see you soon." And Daddy never forgets to say, "I'll be back before you can miss me." But they always do. Always. The space between morning and evening stretches as wide as the space between the moon and the earth, forever and ever. Olivia worries, "Daddy, be careful. Daddy, be safe. Please come home." On Mama's phone, there's a man who looks like Daddy. This sounds like Daddy. It could be Daddy. The news says the man did not make it home. Daddy's careful. Daddy's safe. "We'll see him soon," Mama whispers. Olivia's heart does a thud, 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 thump, 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 pat, pitty pat. It strums a tune, waiting for Daddy to return home. "Worried, huh?" asks Mama. "I'm worried too." Olivia kisses Mama. 1,000 I love yous. Can my Olivia Boo help me make the seconds tick faster? Olivia helps Mama scramble up breakfast. She cracks eggs, washes grapes, and molds biscuits. Mama and Olivia clean. Olivia helps Mama make the bed. Mama helps Olivia do her hair. Olivia and Mama draw wide and tall words that burst into the paper. When Olivia traces her letters, the marker skips to the same old school music. They both feel the tunes in their bones. But nothing is the same without Daddy. Afternoons when Daddy is still at work, Olivia fogs up the windows and watches the cars. She counts 1 to 10. None of them are Daddy's. The day goes on and on, forever and ever and ever. When it's almost time, Olivia whispers, "See you soon." She crosses her fingers. "Patience, Olivia, patience," says Mama. Thud, thud, thud. Thump, 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 pitty pat, pat. Olivia's heartbeat strums until she thinks of one more thing she can do to tick the seconds away. Olivia finds string, 3 pieces, yellow, peach, green. Yellow for the flowers they planted in their backyard. Peach for the sunset they watched on a beach day. Green for weekend trips traveling down the long road to Grandma's. Olivia ties the ends together. She starts to braid, up, over, under. Yellow, peach, green. Up, over, under. Yellow, peach, green. Olivia's heartbeat simmers. It steadies. Tra, pat, pat. Tra, pat, pat. Tra, pat, pat. Olivia gives the bracelet a kiss. Evenings when Daddy comes home from work, his keys announce his arrival before his laugh does. Olivia smiles. Mama sighs. Both wrap him in a hug. Daddy picks Olivia up, twirls her around, and plants the kiss Olivia has missed all day. "You're back safe and sound," says Olivia. "Yes, safe and sound." "I missed you all day," says Olivia. "I missed you too, Olivia Boo." "I made you a present," says Olivia. She wraps the bracelet around Daddy's wrist, tight, to keep you careful and safe, to protect you always. Olivia's bracelet is for mornings when Daddy goes off to work. and evenings on his way back home. It is for when he is almost close and when he is not quite near. A reminder of the good time to soothe all his worries. Olivia's bracelet is for always, forever and ever and ever. I love you so much, says Olivia. Daddy has been waiting to hear those words all day. The end. Take a second to read the author's note. We have so much more to learn and to grow. Be blessed. Malala's Magic Pencil by Malala Yousafzai, and read to you today by Gammy. Do you believe in magic? When I was younger, I used to watch a TV show about a boy who had a magic pencil. If he was hungry, he drew a bowl of curry and it appeared. If he and his friends were in danger, he drew a police officer. The boy was a little hero, always protecting people who needed help. If I had a magic pencil, I would use it to put a lock on my door so my brothers couldn't bother me, stop time so I could sleep an extra hour every morning, erase the smell of trash dump near my house, and I would use it to make other people happy. I would draw the most beautiful dresses in the world for my mother, the best buildings in the valley for my father, so he could open many schools where children could study for free, and a proper ball so my brothers and I no longer had to play with an old sock stuffed with rubbish. Every night before I went to bed, I wished for a magic pencil of my own. And every morning I would wake up and check my cupboard. But the magic pencil was never there. One day, I was throwing away potato peels and eggshells at the dump. I was wrinkling my nose, swatting away flies, and making sure I didn't step on anything dirty in my nice shoes, when I saw a girl about my age sorting trash into piles. Nearby, boys were fishing for metal scraps using magnets on strings. When my father returned home from work, I told him what I seen, and it made him sad. "Abba," I said. "Yes, Johnny," he said back. I always liked when he called me dear one. "Why haven't I seen that girl in my class?" "Because," he said, but he didn't finish right away. "Because, Johnny, in our country, not everyone sends their daughters to school, and some children must work to support their families. Those boys will sell the metal scraps that they find. If they went to school, their families would go hungry." School was my favorite place, but I had never considered myself lucky to be able to go. My father had always said, "Malala will live free as a bird." Now I wondered how free I'd truly be. That night I thought about families who didn't have enough food and the girl who couldn't go to school, and even about how when I was older, I would be expected to cook and clean for my brothers, because where I came from, many girls weren't allowed to become what they dreamed of. I knew then that if I had a magic pencil, I would use it to draw a better world, a peaceful world. First, I would erase war, poverty, and hunger. Then I would draw girls and boys together as equals. Over the next few years, instead of wishing for a magic pencil every night, I worked hard in school every day. I wanted to be one of the top students in my class. But soon, powerful and dangerous men declared that girls were forbidden from attending school. They walked the streets of our city now. They carried weapons. One by one, girls stopped coming to school. "Abba, where are all the students?" "They don't feel safe here anymore, Johnny." How could a few men stop all the girls in our valley from going to school? If more people knew what was happening to us, I thought they might help. Wishing wasn't enough. Someone needed to speak out. Why not me? I wrote about what it felt like to be scared to walk to school, and how some of my friends had moved away because of the threat they faced in our city. I wrote about how much I loved school and how proud I was of my uniform. Once I started writing, I didn't stop. I wrote speeches and traveled around my country, sharing my story. I even talked to a reporter from a famous international newspaper. People actually wanted to learn about my life. I spoke for all the girls in my valley who couldn't speak for themselves. My voice became so powerful that the dangerous men tried to silence me, but they failed. And now my voice is louder than ever. Louder because people have joined me, and together we make a chorus, standing up for what we believe. We raise our voices for those in need, help people in danger, even if they are an ocean away. Think of the world as a family. Do you still believe in magic? I do. I wrote alone in my room, but people all over the world were reading my story. Millions now know it and help me spread my message of hope. I had at last found the magic I was looking for in my words and in my work. I am Malala. I've always wished I could make the world a more peaceful place. And every day I work to make my wish come true. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. The end. Take a second and read more about Malala. We have so much more to learn. Be blessed. Arthur's Christmas by Mark Brown, and read to you today by Gammy. Arthur and D.W. had been in the drugstore a long time. For heaven's sake, D.W. said, this store is full of presents. Pick one and let's go. It has to be just right, said Arthur. I want Santa to like it. Well, hurry up, said D.W. I want to get home and see if Grandma's there and how many presents she brought me. At home, D.W. added 10 more things she wanted to her Christmas list and copied it over in red pencil. Arthur and D.W. cheered when they heard the car in the driveway. Grandma, are there presents in there for me? Asked D.W. Grandma, do you think Santa would like a new mitten or gloves? Asked Arthur. Whatever happened to hello? I'm glad to see you, asked Grandma Thora. After dinner, everyone relaxed. Look, said D.W., I teach Killer a trick. Taught, said Grandma. You taught Killer a trick. But D.W. didn't hear. She had seen something on television to add to her list. Arthur, what's the matter? Asked Grandma. I haven't found the right gift for Santa, said Arthur. Only 2 shopping days left, reminded D.W. The next day, Arthur, D.W., and their friends went shopping, and Killer went too. Arthur searched the entire store and still couldn't find the perfect gift for Santa. What's the big problem? Asked D.W. I can see 100 things I want. Let's go tell Santa. Santa, what would you like for Christmas? Asked Arthur. Ho, 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 laughed Santa. You just leave the giving to me. D.W. had her picture taken patting Santa's tummy. Buster was next. Santa, be careful coming down the chimney at our house. My parents always forget to put the fire out. Ho, 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 said Santa. Don't worry, I'll use the front door. Then it was Francine's turn. Have you been a good little girl? Asked Santa. Oh, yes, smiled Francine. I'm always good. Always? Asked Santa. Afterward, Buster treated them all to ice cream. Arthur could hardly finish his root beer float. He had only one more shopping day. Look, said Francine, Santa eats ice cream. I'll have a banana split with 6 scoops of bubblegum ice cream, said Santa, with double hot fudge, whipped cream, and nuts. I'll say he eats a lot of ice cream, said D.W. At home, Arthur asked his family for help. How about a nice colorful tie, said Father. Aftershave is always a good gift, said Mother. I bet Santa could use some toasty warm Long John, said Grandma. Arthur, you're taking this shopping too seriously, said D.W. Just do what I do. Get everyone the same thing. That afternoon, everyone was getting ready to go caroling. But Arthur didn't have time for Christmas carols. Time was running out. Please come along, begged D.W. I'll be the only kid. And besides, Mrs. Tibble always gives us a present and hot chocolate. Arthur went window shopping instead, hoping that would give him an idea for Santa's present. Santa was ho-ho-hoing and drinking a Diet Root beer at the car wash. Moments later, Santa was at the Golden Chopstick, eating subgum chow goo. Santa must have run to the deli at the corner of North and Main. The waitress shouted Santa's order to the cook. Catch a fish, hit it with fry, and put a pair of shoes on it. Santa sure eats a lot, thought Arthur. Finally, Arthur went home. He hadn't seen a single thing in any of the window stores he thought that Santa would like. Santa was on TV eating Papa Piper's pickled peppers. That's it, said Arthur. He started making his list. Arthur counted his money. D.W., he said in his sweetest voice. Okay, how much do you need? Asked D.W. But only if you promise to stop being such a grouch. The next morning, Arthur gave D.W. half of his list. He took the other half. D.W. had to keep Killer out of the kitchen while Arthur made Santa's present. What's all that noise? Asked Father. Arthur is making a mess, reported D.W. The kitchen door opened and Arthur sneezed. Mom, how many cups of pepper and pickled peppers? He asked. Maybe I should help, said Mother. No, please, said Arthur. I want to make Santa's present myself. Just tell me how many sticks of gum and subgum chow goo. Poor Santa, said D.W. Hours later, Arthur whistled while he set the table for Santa. What's that? Asked Father. Pickled peppers, a hot fudge sundae on bubblegum ice cream, and subgum chow too. I sort of combine Santa's favorite foods, Arthur explained. What's that big lumpy thing that's moving? Asked Grandma. A pizza to go, said Arthur, with everything on it. If you want Santa to come, you'd better go to bed, said Mother. If we want Santa to come, thought D.W., we better do something about that food. D.W. couldn't fall asleep. I have to do something, she thought. Poor Arthur worked so hard. But what if Santa gets one whiff of Arthur's present? He'll never set foot in the dining room, much less eat any of it. Careful to miss the squeaky step, D.W. tiptoed down in the dark. The next morning, Arthur was the first one up. Santa ate it all, he cried, and he left a note. Dear Arthur, you were so nice to take the time to find out my favorite foods and make them. Thank you. You also teach me about the Christmas spirit. Love, Santa. P.S. Aren't you lucky to have such a nice little sister? The end. We have so much more to learn. Be blessed. Hannah's Hundreds of Hijabs by Rosina Omar Gutta and read to you today by Gammy. Hannah has hundreds of hijabs. She collects them wherever she goes, from secondhand shops and shopping malls to her cousin's closet and online sales. She even upcycles her mama's old skirts. Her drawers are overflowing with accessories too, sparkling, glimmering, beaded. She's found her prized pieces among her grandmother's jewels and at Auntie Huda's hair salon, where she helps out after school. Her hijab is always styled magnificently. But aside from having more hijabs than she can possibly wear, she has one peculiar problem. Once Hannah places the first jewel, knot, or layer in her hijab, she cannot stop. Her fingers flow with talent, decorating to be fancier and more flamboyant. This means she is often overdressed, with exquisite attention to detail. Often late, hijab styling does take time, and her hijabs often take over the entire house. She tries limiting herself to only one style, but she can never stick to it. She tries packing her jewels away, but still finds a way to make everything hijabable. She donates some, but still has more than she can manage. She's still tempted to keep styling. Hannah is an artist, and her hijab is her canvas. Her friends have no idea how to help her, only questions. Hannah is their go-to creativity consultant, and her hijabs sparkle with joy, just like her. Hannah, Help me find a match. Does this work, Hannah? Can I borrow that? Her teacher is usually encouraging. You're so original. Maybe try waking up a little earlier so you're not running late. But Hannah knows that the more time she has, the more styling she can do. Hannah loves her hijab. She knows it's important and she feels special when she wears it, just like so many strong women she admires, especially Mama. Hannah, you're ingenious. But Hannah knows Mama gets annoyed when her stuff clutters every room. How can she share her hijab fabulous ideas without always being late or leaving a mess behind her? While Hannah helps out at Auntie Huda's salon, she observes carefully. The customers always love her new hairstyles. Huda, your fingers work like magic. Helping people feel their best is a special kind of magic. Hannah hatches a hijab-tastic idea. Hannah hauls her hijab supplies over to Aunt Huda's salon. Boxes full of jewels and rhinestones are stacked like a tower. A rainbow of fabrics flow over the sides. Her collection practically glows from the pavement. She crafts a sign, covered in jewels of course, and puts it outside. Haphazard hijab no more. Let Hannah Hijab fix your failing fashion and coordinate your combinations. Also styling hats, headpieces, and hair accessories. Appointments available. When word gets out, Hannah can't keep up with the demand. Now Hannah can share her vibrant collection of hijabs and gems. Helping others is great for her creativity, and she makes sure she's on time for her customers, who are perfectly styled and terrifically on trend. As people exit the salon after Hannah's sparkling styling service, they wear an equally sparkle smile on their faces, and Hannah is happiest of all. The end. Take a second to read about the author and the illustrator. We have so much more to learn. Be blessed.